Hello, my brothers and sisters. Once again, karibu sana. Welcome to my channel. Asanteni sana for your support. So today, once again, I'm gonna be doing a very interesting presentation, and kindly, I'm requesting, please make sure you watch until the end. I know it's a very long video. It might be boring, it might be what, but please, there's some very important information, especially as at the tail end. They may have hidden some information back there. So just watch. I want you to learn some very important information. You will never find this information in the libraries. You won't find it in a Google or anywhere else. These are hidden books, quoting from very hidden sources. So please, when you get this, please share to all other lawyers. If you know some people, like they have Facebook page or whatever, share this information. I want people to know all this hidden information. Okay, there's a lot of information that is out on this presentation, and I want all the lawyers to get it. Okay, so please, if you're one of these lawyer or my brother or my sister, please share. I request you share, and God will bless you. Share as far as you can. Okay, so thank you. So today I'm going to be talking about some hidden information that UNESCO in the Victorian era people have been hiding from the rest of us. So one of these is the market, but I'll be talking about other things, so just pay attention. So we'll begin. So most people might assume that before Mzungu came, the Luhya people or the Bantus didn't have markets or didn't know how to trade or didn't know about the value of their goods or whatever. But that's not true. Yeah, the Luhya people, the Bantus were the were the main architecture of trade, and they had rules and laws for trade. So what information do we have? What evidence do we have? So stay tuned, because you're gonna learn a lot of stuff. So basically, all the markets that you see around these markets were established by the Bantus. Okay. And this one reason the Turkic people or the Ottoman or the Umayyad, which tried to engulf Africa through the Horn of Africa, was trying to penetrate so that they can establish themselves to, to collect taxes and for other reasons. And then they used the Funj people, the Nilotic armies, to come and invade. So let's go very fast. So the Bantu of the Great Lakes were divided into three lineages or classes. One was the king, or we call Muhammad Abiyani, the priest, the Ansmith, or the Baruli, Barumbi, Baituri, Vama. So, farmers. You find from Uganda, you'll find people calling them Baruli, Barumbi, Baituri, Muturi. They don't know the meaning of Nganyi, like the Nganyi in the among the Banyore. All these clans, apart from being rainmakers, they were iron smelters, blacksmiths, and even steel making. Okay. These were very proficient people, okay? And it was like a clan thing. It was like a blessing that not anybody can do this. It was a clan thing. So they were scattered around the Great Lakes. So the king lineage were also scattered, and they ruled in different areas, but these were related, the royal bloodline. The priests or the chosen people were also scattered throughout the Great Lakes, and they did the same function. Each group were performing in their respective area. The Varumi, the Ansmith, the Ituri Varumi were also the same thing. The farmers, the same thing. Okay, so this is how the market, because these people were producing different things from whatever they were doing or from the activities. So these are the Maragoli. So I'm just gonna touch on the Maragoli. It's not I don't have evidence on other people, but I just want to use whatever evidence I have right now to show what UNESCO and the Victorian era hiding from us. So one thing is, the Maragoli people never had kings for themselves. They never ruled with a king. Instead, they had elderly people, the house people. They call the Kiriango, the Ingo people. Those were like the people who used to lead the clans, okay? So they say they talk until you agree. Yeah, but it was through the priesthood. It was the priesthood, the choosy people used to. So until the Mzungu established the system in 1930, that's when the first chief was appointed among the Maragoli. But before that, no chief, no. Maragoli didn't have all this kind of stuff. Only the Bawanga people and the other Luhya had the king. They had the royal bloodline. Okay. But this is the same thing. You go to all other places where the Bantus were. They were the priestly people, the kings and whatever, divided into different classes. So again, like I've said, the Maragoli. In East Africa, actually, it is well documented. We only had two systems. Don't let anybody lie to you. You know, like they say, oh, today the people say, we will share power, we give power from Kalenjin to Kikuyu, Kikuyu to Kalenjin. It's because they don't understand. Yeah, they don't understand how to govern. It is not in their DNA. Yeah, the Muzungu gave them something they don't understand. They just play with it. But when you are a real leader, you don't say things like that. Yeah, you don't rule people like like a beast. Yeah. But you see, they are doing it because it's not in their DNA. Yeah. So in East Africa, it is recorded only two systems existed. The Uganda, the Mankole, but it was the Baganda people, and then the Logoli, the priestly lineage, the Chuizi. So these were the only two systems that existed in the Great Lakes in East Africa. Don't let anybody lie to you. Even the Bithynia is a fake one. Never. They say, oh, King Menelik. That's a lie. He ruled who? Under what government? That's a lie. It never existed as a kingdom. Even Somali didn't have a. Don't let these people lie to you. Yeah? Don't allow them to lie. They might be handsome and beautiful, but they were fighting each other. Yeah, they could not even accept one person to rule them. So like I've said, Logoli never had any rulers but priests, and through this they established many markets because of certain things which you will see. So here this is a book by Wagner Gunther. He says sacral collaboration and coordination is also a force for cohesion among the Logoli tribe in Kenya. On semi-annual occasion, the people stop all garden work and sends a representative to a special sacral cave on the slope of Wooden Hill. There they sacrifice to an ancestral spirit, Mungoma, and the tribal deity Asai, which is, you see, basically they're mixing truth with lies, okay? There was no ancestral spirit called Mungoma. Mungoma is a drum which they stole, and then the Asai deity. So how do you offer sacrifice to a drum and then again pray for a deity called Asai? They corrupted the word is Nyasai. Okay. So the Logoli traditional priests played a key role in the sacrifice, while most of the people representatives sing ceremonial song at the bottom of the hill. Several others joined Logoli priests to perform sacrificial ceremonies inside the cave. So this cave, you will see later on at the tail end, you will see what this cave meant and, the history of the cave. So pay attention to this word cave, okay? So the Logoli also performed circumcision rites on a tribal scale, okay? Yeah, they don't want to say it was like thousands and thousands of people used to meet together. They don't want to admit that, okay? So they say the Logoli have no central authority, such as the chief or tribal council. They are cultic, you see? I told you. They have to track whatever they found with, so that you can give up your whatever culture, history, and everything, and then they give you their Christianity. It was done by the Roman Catholic Church through the Portuguese and then the British Victorian era. They had to delete everything, replace it with their version. Yeah, okay. So this Wagner concludes that the Logoli tribal scale cults again and rites create a feeling of unity, which serve as a sanction for close cooperation in all matters affecting tribal whatever. So through this priest and culture, Maragoli were able to establish so many markets around the Great Lakes because there was a way, and you can find it among the Lembas also. There's a way, there's a customary that only the Maragoli people know about the market thing. like you work on the land, whatever you get, you go and sell. Sometimes you give out for free, and then it's yani hiyo ni tabia, it's a culture of the Maragoli people. That's how they do. So that's why they were able to establish so markets around the Great Lakes. Okay, and you find so many places like Mbale in Kenya, Mbale in Uganda, places like Entebbe. They don't know those people. They don't know the name of those names, but they will tell you there were people here who established these markets, and then once the Bito people invaded, especially Bunyoro further west, these people disappeared. Yeah, so we'll see. So there are so many markets before the Mzungus came in, and one of them was the Entebbe, the Kisumu, Mbale, and many others, Vihiga, Chavakali. So other Bantu used to come from very far, even the Swahili, the Sudanese too. They used to come and get food and everything from these Bantus. So Logoli were the main people establishing these markets, and it's through their priestly culture that these markets were, they did very well. And so the Arabs wanted to control this market. I should not call them Arab. The Turkic people, the Ottomans, wanted this market, and also the Sudanese wanted this market. The Tutsi, the Hima, they wanted to control this market. The Luo, same thing. Then the Swahili people also were fighting to control these markets. Okay, so eventually you'll see when the Briton and the Germans came, they also wanted to control this market, and they had to kill it and replace it with their own. Even the name and the culture, they had to surrender to the Luo so that we became cooks, whatever. They surrendered our culture, or us Luhya, to the Kikuyu as guards and cook, and to delete our culture for good. Okay. So, like I said, Kisumu originally was one of the major trade hub created by the Maragoli, but the Luo were given by the British, and the entire history of the Maragoli people were deleted or stolen. Yeah, and for the reason that I've just explained. Yeah. So even the Arabs used to come there for trade with the Swahili. So today, if you go to even like Google and search Suma or Kusuma, they will tell you it's a Luo word. Yeah, but when you ask because Luo they are not just in Kenya. You find the here in Tanzania, you find their related groups in Kivu, you find their related groups in Uganda, in Sudan and Ethiopia. Ask them what does the word Kusuma mean. They don't know. It is not in their language. Okay, so how comes only the Luo of Kenya know what the Kusuma means? Yeah, you will find out. It is because the British did 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, they wanted to delete the culture and the history of the Maragoli people and the Luhya and the Bantus in general. Okay, I'm not just saying Maragoli, but I'm emphasizing Maragoli because these were a major battle or the big fight. Yeah, happened to Italy. Wow. Okay, so this is now again Wagner Gunther, this second edition. He wrote a second edition just before Second World War. He said how the markets began in the country of Logoli. Perhaps some people will think that formerly there were no markets, but you can believe that they were there indeed. Though we shall find that the markets of long ago to have been different from those of today. The first market in the tribes of Logoli was started by a man of the Dindi clan who was called Dindi, together with this helper who was called Masava. These two people built market to the north of Kisumu, where one entered the country of South Maragoli in a valley called another man who lived nearby. So, don't want to read all this story, but to summarize, the Maragoli used to found these markets, okay, and it's through their culture and system of what these people call occultism or whatever. We're just like a few seconds away from calling us Luciferian or Satanism, okay, or even Freemason if you want. Yeah. So it is through the Logoli culture that you control the markets or you establish trade. They've been doing it for many years. Yeah. But even you see the Nandi, the Luo, all these people used to come to trade with Maragoli. because it's Maragoli used to control the market. But when as the Britons left Kenya, all the history was surrendered to the Luo. Yeah, I say, oh, Luo did this, oh, the Luo brought this, oh, the Luo did that. Yeah. So it's what the Mzungu. So again, you see, this is again, you see, African trade in the 12th century. The last paragraph was clearly concerned with the Mbale market. This is like the last market the Maragoli people did after they were, kicked out from Kisumu. You see, the last paragraph was clearly concerned with the Mbale market in the first year of the 20th century. African trade did not suddenly stop with the advent of the colonies. In fact, expanded. People could begin to move around the countrywide without a fear of being violated. So you see, they know, they've documented this. Especially the Luhya people, were they like the pioneers of establishing these trade markets from whether Uganda, Bunyoro, whatever. These were trade markets, okay? But you see what happened. Just pay attention. So what these Luhya people used to sell includes the Ivinusu basket woven by expert from winnowing grain, which we brought 50 cents, whatever. These are some of the things that they used to sell since, and they continue to sell even when the Europeans came. They were still selling this stuff. You say about the Mbale market. This market was called after a man who lived in the country or Odana. It is 23 miles in the north of Kisumu. So this is just basically supporting the first story. Yeah, including the second, another market, Lunyerere. These were what's the name of this guy? Idi Amin. Yeah, Idi Amin was really pissed off because a lot of Indians were brought into Lunyerere, and they were like, and eventually when Idi Amin was very frustrated and talking about we don't want these people to even go to Uganda. That's why these people are given Kisumu. Yeah, after the Luo sold Kisumu. By then they sold Kisumu to Britain. I have books showing you how much they sold. They sold like $1 to somebody, I don't know the name. It's $1. Sold Kisumu to Mzungu for $1. $1. They have it's called what, like title deed or whatever. Say Luos have sold to us Kisumu for $1. Okay. So here they say. Now again, going back to the culture. Like I've said, the culture of the Maragoli is the one which created all these markets. Okay. So here again, it's all Logoli, or all assembled at Logoli. Say, assemble there. I shall tell the names. The Logoli, the Suha, the Nandi, the Nyole, the Luo, and the Da, all assemble, all this tribe, like very much to meet on this market. As we all know, the Logoli from the days of their forefathers had better knowledge of tilling the soil than the Luo. But the Luo knew more about getting rich in the cattle than did the Logoli. And those years, everybody who wished to obtain anything he liked could go to the market. It was located between the country of the Logoli and that of the Luos. The Logoli offered to the Luos different kind of grains such as sorghum and listen, as well as banana, chicken, potatoes, tail feathers, basket, which were made woven by the Nyole and the Logoli, and many other things beside. And the things which the Luo offered pleased with us, the Logoli, were the fish they caught in the lake of Kisumu, the Kavirondo Gulf, and the cattle, of which they were good. Okay. So you see, this trade has been there for a long time, and it is one. I mean, it has been also the source of the conflict between the Bantus and these pastoralists, because they also wanted to be part of it. Yeah, it's called Mpako. They want to come in when you're doing market or the market days, and then be like tax collector. Okay, but you will see. We'll discuss that. So. Fish and pots, the Itako bring groundnuts and sesame, the Logoli bring grains, bananas, strings of the cambi tree, quills, handles. Quills in the Bible. I hope somebody has, you've read that Moses, when he prayed for God to give them food, they were given quills and manna. So quills and Luhya people, today they say quills it's for the Luo, but when you go to the Luo of Tanzania and Uganda, they don't know anything about quills. Yeah, it's not part of their diet. Yeah, so when soon, nikipata time, I will do another video we talk about how some of these things were handed over to the Luos. Today you find so many books written by people called Cohen and Akinyi, or Shapiro, Ben Eliezer, and Achieng. And you wonder, what are these people, these guys from Palestine, doing with Luo ladies and writing, and they're stealing Luhya's history and handing them over to the Luo. Okay, they know they're doing it today. Go to any bookstore. There are so many books they're writing and say, oh, the ceramic of the Luo, which were, the Luhya people adopted. And then they have a big trust because they can't connect this with other Luos in Sudan or the Luos in Uganda or the Luos so they're trying to say, it's only maybe the Luos of Kenya are very smart. Yeah, they only these people knew this. They knew how to build the Luo of Kenya. Yeah, they knew this thing, but the Luo in Tanzania didn't know about this stuff, and the Luo back in Sudan did. So how? Come on, man. A lot of lies. Okay. So they're trying. If most people think about Egypt, but I'm telling you, it's about Kenya. It's all about Kenya, because if the Muzungus accept that all these artifacts that they've been stealing, especially from the Luyas, and the history that they've stolen from the Luya, if they accept, and Buganda and the Hutus, if they accept even Vanins, yeah, then it's all gone. It's a wrap. So they have to make sure they say, oh, the Temple Choinga, it was built by the Nile. And then, but they have a problem with that because we have the Lemba down there. They built similar thing like the Temple Choinga. So how do you connect the two? So how do the Luo migrate to Zimbabwe, build great Zimbabwe, and then come back again here? Yeah. So there's another similar thing like Temple Choinga in Central Africa. So they don't know anything about it. But like I said, you have Cohen and Shapiro, yeah, and Akinyi and Achieng writing this stuff together. They're collaborating in appropriating the history of the Luhya people. The Luhya are just sleeping, they don't know. Yeah, we were taught to be good Christian and look up and forget everything. While the Mzungu and the Luo are stealing the history of that. Most people won't believe me. Most people, especially they will not even believe me. Say, no. We did this. No, we can't. Us, we can't. Yeah. So now, eventually, these markets. Now, this is where I was basically heading. So these markets, the markets of the Maragolis or the Luyas or the Bantus, eventually they became warehouses of slaves. Yeah. So when this guy came, I can't remember the name very well. When this guy came, is a Mzungu from British and another one from America. They came together like they were looking for the source of the Nile. They found a place called Gulu, Gondokora, and Bonyoro. It was like a warehouse, slave warehouse. So they were hanging the Sudanese people, like they were hanging them. Whenever they found them with the Bantu slaves, they would hang them and kill them vibaya, so that they would stop taking slaves to Ethiopia, where even King Menelik and King Haile Selassie, they used to have Bantu slaves there. So, and Sudan and Balgazar and Egypt. So there were all these people, the slaves were being taken via Nile River. So these two the Briton and the American guy, they had to kill these Sudanese for them to stop slavery. Okay. So again, another thing is the Egyptians. But when you say Egyptian, I'm not talking about I'm talking about the Turkic, the Ottoman people who are still today in Egypt. They also wanted to take over Uganda. They were fighting this guy called Kabarega. Okay, they wanted to take over Uganda. He said the Egyptian Empire attempted to annex Banyoro and replace Kabarega with one of his rebellious cousins. So there was a fight, especially over Buganda, Bunyoro, and Kavirondo, because these were the source of the food and minerals and everything for these people, the Egyptians, or I don't want to call them the Egyptian, the Ottoman, the descendant of the Ottoman, and the descendant of the people from Mongols and Caicos, where they came from, okay, and settled in Egypt, and some in Ethiopia, some in Tunisia, Algeria. These people you see today there, okay. So they used to get all the minerals, the food from Buganda, Bunyoro, and Kavirondo. So they were trying to colonize us, from their areas or from their hometown. So they used to hire the pastoralist people, sometimes convert them to Islam, then send them as soldiers. What was the source of this conflict? Okay, so for a start, we have to look at the Mpako system. Yeah, Mpako system, because this is now where hizo mambo zote began. Okay, so the first land commission, or how do I call it? Like this was the first um, established commission to talk about the land issues of Western Kenya and maybe Uganda. Yeah, so they're trying to see what was. So the British and the Americans sent people to form a commission, like they've been doing since then. They've been doing like set up commission to talk about land, and then they hide information. They don't want people to find what people have said about the ancestral land issue. God gave every community their land and their ancestral land, but the pastoralist people, yeah, and they've been doing some terrible things, especially around the Great Lakes. The pastoralist people, yeah, they just come with the cattle, and then eventually they want to, conquer you and take over your land. That's what they've been doing. So this was like the first land commission. So let's see what these people are saying. Now, for those who won't understand, long time ago, the Maragoli, the name Maragoli was not like, you don't call yourself a name. Other people call you this name. So the rest of the people used to know Maragoli as Masana. Yeah, but eventually the name changed. It just became a single clan. And Masana, these are like the same Sana people from Yemen, okay? The same what the Lemba people, the Shona, whatever. It originally was Masana or Sana people, okay? So here, you see, let's read the report. Say, we the people of Masana bring our cry before the Kenya Land Commission. We are the Abutembule clan of the Bamaragoli. Our land is named Masana. I, Akech, have been put in jail and fined, along with others, because of our land. I, Akech, my forefather, Ardas Akech, son of Amboke, died at Masana. Chandai, father of Amboke, who died at Masana. Ambula, father of Chandai, who died at Masana. Inoi, father of Ambula, who died at Masana. Kisembori, father of Inoi, who died at Masana. In other words, they were naming their forefathers. Actually, they were asking Britain. All they wanted is for them to be allowed to retrieve the graves of their forefathers who have been buried all over Sumu, all over this area. And, British or whatever refused. Instead, they arrested them, killed a lot of Maragoli, and we don't know what happened to the rest of these people. And there's so many things, there's so many atrocities that British and the Luos did to, especially Maragoli. Yeah, just those stories just disappear like that. Because you don't have power in Kenya, because since the so-called independence, where the British government created a fake country called Kenya and handed over the history of the Luhya or the Bantus to the Kikuyu have ignored us. They're only concerned with their own self-interest and the Mzungu, how they can work with Mzungu to for their own interests. So nobody cares about us. So we have been there to just see and watch as they steal and do whatever they're doing, okay? So there were so many that occurred occurred around the Great Lakes, but more specifically eastern Uganda, okay? So this is a continuation. So when the Serikali came, they found, Serikali means government. When they knew the European government came, they found Omuga living, our chief. At first, we paid our taxes along with the Maragoli, who are our tribe. During the war, Mr. Hammond, district commissioner, altered our boundaries and put us under the rule of the Luo people. The name of the Luo chief was Peter Obiero. Under the rule of Obiero, our land was not protected by the government. Because of the rule of the Obiero over us, many Luo people robbed us our field. The name of the Luo people, they know the names, because the Mzungu are very clever. They knew, many years later, we'll find out and go and ask, you guys, you stole our. So, they omitted the names. So our children have not where to cultivate because of the Luo who have entered our land. To this day, Maragoli don't have land. And people have wondered, like, you guys, why are you squatters? Why are you squatters on your own land? And when you ask our forefathers or our fathers or our people, our elderly, you ask them, why you guys don't have land? They don't know anything. They don't know because this story has been deleted. When the missionary came, it was like a military school. The Maragoli, the entire story was deleted. They only know things based on Bible. They don't know, other than that, nothing. Deleted. Yeah. So when you go to, some, using Mzungu library, you find all this information, but in Kenya, it's not there. Okay. So now Luo response, the Luo were military, but they don't tell you. These were military. You will see. Okay. So what was the response to that commission when Maragoli gave their side of the story? Now Luo were also asked to give the side of the story. So let's see what this Luo said. They said, and this is the first ever land report about Eastern Buganda. They say memorandum, elders of the Kisumu location. We, the Jaluo elders of the Kisumu location, humbly beg to address His Majesty Land Commission concerning our grievances, which are not a few, because our land, which we have inherited from our fathers, is continually being taken from us. We also wish to express our thanksgiving that our complaints have been heard, and that His Majesty government has appointed a commission to consider our claims. We will call attention to a grievance of long standing, which date back to the time of Chief Obiro. Before Europeans came to our land, our fathers took possession of the land now under the dispute and drove the Maragoli Bantu into their own country and established a boundary land at the top of Maragoli Hills. Now you see, they stole the land of the Maragoli, and they know it. To this day, you go there, you find a place called Ugenya, and you wonder, what's going on here? Yeah, why do you have so many Logoli names in Kisumu? Yeah, even the name Kisumu, Nyanza. Today, when you go to Google and type Nyanza, you tell you, Nyanza is a word that belongs to Banyarwanda, and that's crazy. We say Nyanza, Nyanza, Mundu ya Nyanza, whatever. So how do you say this is a whatever word when it's being used here actually by the Maragoli people or the Luhya? Yeah, you will see. Utaelewa nini inaendelea hapa. I want people to get the entire story. Guys, his name is called Charles Hobley. This is the guy who created the Luo. Anything you see today about the Luo, you can trace it back from this guy and another guy called, I don't know if it's called Goro whatever, Maya, I don't know, but Charles Hobley. This is where you trace all the things that are all the evil things that the Luos have done to the Maragoli, to this guy. He came to Eastern Uganda around 1899, and they was sent by the Balfour Agreement to create land for the Zionists. So when he found the Luo doing whatever they were doing on the Logoli, he was like, now I don't even need an army. I've found some people who I already want. Okay, so the Luo were the what do you call the foot soldiers. Okay, so you'll see what so the entire Luo, the entire Kisumu city, all this town, okay, this land belonged to Kisi, Suba, and Maragoli. They know very well. They will tell you, they know. It's not like I'm guessing or I'm against anybody. I'm telling you, these are facts, and they know it very well. The entire land, this all area, yeah, were the first people to occupy this place. So this is now where the story begins. And I want every Luhya to pay attention, because I know the story might sound boring, but I want everyone Luhya to pay attention to this, to what I'm about to read. So this is a secret pact that you will never find this document, even at any library or even if you Google it, you will never find it. So that's why I'm saying all Luhya need to share this and learn what happened and why it happened, how this thing, how it happened. Okay. So let's read it. Say Ogirimiti Agreement. Ogirimiti Pact was the most secretive agreement between Luos and Briton. The first British Luo agreement, Ogirimiti of 1902, outlined that the Luos would provide all required personnel to the British provided they were paid, and in return, the Lakeshore and the Luo land grabbed from the Jamua Bantu slave and the Lango Nandi will not be annexed. Those who have done an elaborate research know that no single Luo ever fought, resisted against German Britons or Turkic Arab who all surrounded the Great Lakes simultaneously, but as Britons and Americans, so-called explorer, left Africa for America, 2 full planes left under the Yoreva and JFK program. The planes had thousands of CIANs airlifted to New York so they could help I don't want to mention the name so that the YouTube will censor me because they don't want, who controls YouTube. And America implemented their own taxation or central banking system in the Great Lakes. It's the same Luos who extensively used to implement the Kipande system and the hard taxes on Bantu land squatters. They used their Luo system called Mpako Mpako, which basically means lordship, or you bend to the Lord, okay? It's the same time Obama Sr., who were elected to USA, was elected to the US. Now, this is how he was elected. So now this is how everything began. These are dirty two people that Luo or Luos will do everything in their power to avoid. Okay, just pay attention. When Luos migrated to Kenya from Bahal el Ghazal, Sudan, it was not by accident, but a well-executed move and military conquest called Mpako Mpako, organized by an emir or sultan from Sultan who had sent them. For many generations, sorry, let me think about it. When Luos migrated to Kenya from Bahar el Ghazal, Sudan, it was not by an accident, but a well-executed move and a military conquest called Mpako Mpako, organized by an emir or sultan who had sent them to conquer the Bantus. For many generations, they were led by an Analego military clan, which was the first to conquer the original territory, which was later stretched together with other incoming military clans, both from Jok and later Owini, Omolo, and other groups. Seja of Alego led for approximately 18 generations. On the 18th, they moved a motion for Luos to restructure their military governance away from the clan-based military, kingship-based revolution to a modern kingship akin to Baganda and Wanga kingdom. With the Seja being king, other communities will also be admitted if they wish as a full Luo citizenship, the way it happened in kingdoms. Everyone was to recognize and bow to sages as king, the way it happens to Luhya's Nabongo and Uganda's Kabaka to date. They all departed from Luo's traditional military kingship-based to clan-based political, social, economical, cultural, and political order like Bantus. That started War of Brothers. Okay, they started War of Brothers. Jaka, Nyongo, Rabala, Rachonyo, whatever those names, many heroes were made. Okay, migrated and conquered new territories in Loka, present-day South Nyanza. Many heroes were made and much blood was shed of their Lango, Nandis, and the Jamua Bantu slaves to be ejected from their lands. Kisii, Maragoli, Suba were the main target and were all flushed away, and remaining were enslaved locally in Luo's new territories. This expansionist move was to assimilate and preserve strict Luo culture dominance, and also there was a fear of adulteration. Nyokal group followed them later on. They included all major Luo military groups in South Nyanza and Tanzania called Hehe, including Game of South Nyanza and Kochia, Kabwal, Kanyamkago, those are Maragoli, etc. Other groups were assimilated including Suba, Masai, Kuria, and Kisii clan. This is how Kamagambo and Wasweta, also Maragoli clan, became Luos. Okay. Many months later, the two Luo military groups gradually moved to different corners of ideology: conservative, dualist, south, and progressive ideologies, central Nyanza. You see, this is how whatever. So let's continue. Many years later, that after many battles between the Maasai soldiers and police of King Wanga, of Mumia were defeated by British armies. By the way, let me just say something. The Maasais and the Kalenjins and the Swahili, they used to be hired by King Wanga as police. So they were the police of the Luhya people. Okay, so let's continue. So when King Wanga was defeated, many Luos of central Nyanza were assimilated and moved into Wanga kingdom of Mumia, and they became Luhya of Mumias. Okay, they did that to force Luhya, most powerful kingdom, to subdue and be assimilated and brought into their dominance. Alego Segov Luo faction, who tried to form a Sudanese kingdom in Nyanza, failed and were not able to create a successful kingdom of their own due to the handicaps that new system came with. Culture always defeats strategy. Plus Sudanese or Bito from Bahar al Ghazal had never experienced kingdom type of rulership but feudal system. After Britons successfully used Luo to capture Luhya Swanga kingdom, King Nabongo Mumia was forced to work with Luo's Bantu bitter enemies. Under the new administration, the entire Luo land was under the King Nabongo up to Naivasha, then eastward bordering Buganda kingdom. British also changed the title of King Wanga to a paramount chief. We'll talk about that, why they changed. Okay, let me just say, they reduced the power of King Wanga so that they can eventually hand over all the administrative duties of Nabongo to the Luos. Okay, that's how you see the Wanga, they lose history, they lose their power, and then all of a sudden you get what's the Raila, the Odinga people, they start to appear from nowhere. Wanga disappear, Odinga appear. You'll see why this happened, and the curse, where the curse began. We'll talk about the curse. So Luo will then work for Nabongo as kingdom guards, Raila great grandfather, and tax collector, assisted by the Swahili long distance traders. From late 1800 to 1969, South Nyanza Luos provided the Luo leadership largely due to fertile land conquered early from the Jamwa slave, mainly Maragoli, Suba, and Kisii, and the collapse of Sages began. This was a period of glory for Luos. Luos were able to handle the British in a very focused and clever manner than other communities did not because of their land scarcities. Luo actually thrived in the colonial era rather than fail. While Jamas were then fighting each other over tiny lands, Luo owned thousands of conquered idle land. The first African professional technician, first railway line engineers, land surveyors, chiefs, senior police officers in Uganda and Kenya, bankers, teachers, and artisans were Luos, and heritage held till date. German, US, and Britain favored Luo because they allied. Luo land, no beaches were taken. When I say beaches, I mean beach, like shores of Lake Victorian, which originally belonged to Luhya and the Suba people and Kisii. Luo land for beaches were taken, and no single Luo were ever taken to forced labor due to the agreed on at the Galamaro of between 1902 to 1905. The agreement was like a long, between 1902 to 1905. In fact, Bantu rebels such as Mekatalili, now pay attention to that. In fact, Bantu rebels such as Mekatalili from coast, Mekatalili Wamenza from coast, among many others, were brought to Siaya so that the Luo could torture them for the Briton. I know most people don't even know this. Yeah, imagine the Britons trusted the Luo that they could bring other Africans to be tortured by the Luos. Imagine what the Luo did to Luhya, just neighboring Nyine Majerani hapo. Just imagine the kind of thing that they did to Luhyas. If they could be trusted by the Briton to torture Mekatalili for Britons, imagine what they did for. I've not even gone to explain, to tell people or tell you guys how they used Luo to massacre the Arabs. Yeah. Nikienda hapo najua, maybe I don't want censorship, but Mungu akipenda we'll talk about that. Yeah. So there's a guy called John something. Yeah. So many Arabs were killed in Zanzibar, Pemba, Shiraz. So many of them black Arabs from Oman. Yeah. These were just traders. Yeah. They had to remove them. You will see. We will talk about that some other day. Mungu akipenda. Okay. So they infiltrated Wanga, and eventually Wanga became useless. So the Ugirimiti fact was equally expensive. Many Luo's willing fighters died fighting for the white man in Africa than in World War II. According to statistics, more Luos died in those wars than all the Bantu's force conscript combined, or Kikuyu, Kamba, Meru killed by the British in the Maori Caesars combined. From 6 April 1906, British and Germany wanted to grab Kenyan island and most fertile land for those guys in Palestine, and Afrikaners Boers from South Africa to settle in Limuru, Uasin Gishu, Kisii, and Western Kenya. Luo support for British led to Kikuyu and Babukus rated for Luos. As early as 1910 all the way to 1970, Kikuyus took oath against Luos and Luos leadership in Kenya. Luo elders choose to send social misfit goons. If you're a Kikuyu and you're interested to know about Njonjore, I know Kikuyu know about Njonjore, you can read the rest of that. It's for you, okay? So, Luhya, this is now for Luhyas. When Luos pelted stone at the late Jomo Kenyatta, Luhyas paid the heavy price because Kikuyu perception was Luo and Luhya one and the same, although we are not, and have also suffered heavily in the hands of Luo. Central Nyanza group took over leadership of Luo in 1969 with the assassination of Tom Mboya. That leadership was idealistic, impractical, and contradictory to Luo's main interest, which originally was to subdue and capture the whole Bantu kingdom and rule over them. So you see, Luo change of tact and change of goal has led to short-term peace and temporary ceasefire. This is one of the most secretive information you'll ever find. So that's why I was telling you guys, make sure you share this information. I want Luos, wherever you are, if you encounter this information, I need a rebuttal. And there is somebody, YouTube should not censor. I want Luo to come out and say, okay, this is not true, this is a lie. No insult, just say this is a lie. This, whatever you guys are saying, it's not true. Just read a rebuttal from Luos. Come out, do a rebuttal. Peaceful rebuttal. I've given you all the information, just rebuttal, okay? So, Manga, you can see the tall guy standing on his left. This is the great grandfather of Jaramogi Odinga. So these guys, they were brought in by the Britons. Their main agenda was to help Britain destroy Wanga or the Luhya people. So he pretended like he was one of the bodyguards, but he was in Etwadile Kuiba Siri, like he was stealing the information, and he discovered that Wanga used to wear a bracelet, or what do you call the thing on your hand, bracelet. And this thing of the Wanga, it was the Kabakas, all the king around the Great Lakes used to wear similar thing. It's like a royal thing. So somebody told them that thing has a lot of power, and it has like a long history. Only kings or the what do you call them? That is what you to a king, yeah. Those are the only people who are allowed to wear that thing. So if you take it out from the king, the history and the power is gone. So in another video, I will talk about Abiami, because Abiami is a very powerful. You see Zambia, they say Mwami. You go to Rwanda, Burundi, they talk about Mwami. They don't know the meaning, but it's a deep meaning. Mwami, Abiami. It was the original name of our forefather. Okay, Abiami. Okay. So that's how the Luhya people lost their history and power. So the great grandfather stole the bracelet of Wanga and handed it over to Britons. And that day, the Wanga people, the council of the elder were called, and they cast the Luo people. They say, "You guys, you came here, and we knew from the word go, you came to destroy our kingdom. We will not fight. The thing that you guys want is power. You want to rule our people. That power that you guys are dying to get, you will never taste it. You'll only see it from a distance, but you will never get power." And to this day, the Luo have tried all they can to get power there, but wameshindwa. And even when the Britons handed over power to Raila's father, yeah, we believe it's the spell, your curse, that just confused him, and he handed over to the Kikuyu. And then Kikuyu have been ruling Kenya like their own bedroom, destroying and getting loans and stealing money, stealing land, and doing all kinds of atrocities. And they think it is God who has sent them to do all these things. Okay, To this day, they just destroying Kenya, and they tell you it is God, Jesus, who has sent them to do whatever they are doing. Yeah. Right now, they're in Congo, Kivu, stealing from Congolese. They tell you, oh, God has sent us to go and destroy or steal from Congolese. Yeah. We are not part of it. We are not part of those people that are stealing from Kivu. These are the Kikuyu and whatever their groups who are doing it. They are doing it as individual, not us. We Luhya were not part of it. Not part of it. If one Luhya who is involved in that will end up kama kivyako. Utapata lana kivyako. We not allow ourselves to steal from Kivu. So that's how the Nabongo system or the Nabongo kingdom collapsed. And the Luo started writing books like Professor Got, even the mom started writing, oh, the Luhya, the primitive Negroid. Yeah, he came here, we are the one who, civilized him. The Luo taught them that. The Luo taught them this. And even the Luo today, they say they used to be white. Yeah, and then they mixed with the primitive Negro, and then they become dark skinned. They have so many books they've written that they used to be white. They used to speak Semitic, Cushitic languages. Yeah, and then when they came to the land of the black, they became dark skinned. Yeah, so that's why they. The Mzungu, even the name when they say Chwezi, some people think it's like our own name. Chwezi is not even our own identity. It's the Germans. They couldn't accept that the story of the priesthood belong to the black people. So they say, oh, Chwezi, because people, the black people say, okay, Swazi, Swats people. So it became the Tutsi and the Hima corrupted the word and say Chwezi. It's the Tutsi and the Hima who corrupted the word from Swats. So it became Chwezi, which Swazi mean black. Yeah. So the Mzungu are like saying it's white people who came and taught us all these things because they couldn't up to this day. They have not accepted that the Bantu, especially the Luhya, the Baganda, the Hutu, people knew about ironsmith, the steel, making steel, or forging steel, making all the medicine, doing all what do you call like kupasua mtu hiyo kwa kichwa venye Waluhya na Wakisii wanapasua, doing all the surgeries and all the medicine, all this stuff. The Maasai were telling the Mzungu, all these things, the medicine that you see us with here in Kajiado and where, we learned it from the people, the Bantu Kavirondo there. Maasai used to live with the Luhya. The place called Wasengishu. Those were the Maasai. Today they are in Narok. We'll talk about that later on. How the Maasai and the Luo, they form one of the most powerful kingdom. And Mzungu had to separate this kingdom so that the Luo could enter and take over. So those Maasai today, they're in Narok. You see this guy running, it's called Dereva. Some of them, if you do DNA, come out Luhya, and you wonder what's going on. Yeah, even what's the name? I can't remember the other name. Sankuli. Yeah, to this day, he can speak fluent Luhya. Most of those Maasai from Narok, most of them they came from Luhya land. Okay, and Mzungu had to separate them to make Luhya land, accessible for the Luo to invade and take over. Okay, so that's one story they don't want you to know. So today they tell you, the Nabongo was a snitch, or Nabongo did no. They wanted Luhya kingdom to collapse. Yeah. So British wanted the warlike Hamitic tribe to be the leader of Kenya to guard Suez Canal and the headwater, or where they say where the Nile begins. It has always been their agenda to control this area. They say, but we can't leave this area under a peaceful, because we used to call the people of peace, the Mulembe nation, the people of peace. So they can't leave where the Nile begins, and with all these things and stuff that they found out in the hand of these people, because they walikuwa wanaokupa Somalia, and the Muslim, they will eventually invade and take whatever. So they say, oh no, we can't leave all these things with the Bantu. So what do we do? We hand over power to the warlike tribes, the military. Today you come to Kenya, you will find the military. Masikio imekatwa, the ears, the torn. Some don't even have teeth. It's the custom. Like, we'll talk about that later on, the Natufi and how they used to, the name Canaanites come from Canaan teeth. And it's not like let me talk in Swahili so that take it to be censored. Kutoa meno, hawa watu wanatoa meno juu wanakunywa damu. Yeah, kunywa damu sana unatoa hizo meno inatoka, inakuwa na protruding teeth. Kuna wale tu watoto wanazaliwa na hiyo mainjero, but kuna watu bloodline meno ilikuwa inatoka hivi nje sana because of drinking blood, and that's canine teeth, canine, the protruding teeth. Okay, mzungu ataki the Natufian. You can Google Natufian. Yeah, you'll see they used to remove the teeth. They don't want to know. This is a Sirikwa culture. Anyway, we'll talk about that some other time. So here you see this book says Spencer recommended the retirement of Mumia because of two reasons. First, according to Spencer, Mumia was an old man with little authority or influence. Secondly, Spencer argued that administration was stable and effective. It is, however, clear that people like Spencer did not like the independence and the respect given to Mumia, the royal background, okay, of Mumia, and the big location of Wanga given to him worried and annoyed colonial administrators. Thus, the position of Mumia caused a dilemma to the colonial officers. It was thought advisable to retain the title Paramount Chief. That's how they decrease his title to Paramount Chief. How, I was asking you guys, like, how do you call somebody a chief king? Mumia means Mumia is a king. So how do you call somebody a paramount king, a paramount chief king? Yeah, Mumia is the title for a king. So how do you have somebody called? It's the same way these Mzungus named Mount Kilimanjaro. Say Mount. Kilima is Mount. Jaro is Mount Masai. So how do you call it Mount? They were in a hurry to hide, to lie and hide everything. So anyway, so in 1919, the boundaries between North and Central Kavirondo was demarcated to reduce solidarity for Mumia. You see, the Luo location of Genya and Alego were changed with the Luhya location of Maragoli, Chiriki Bunyore, and Kisa. The Luo location were transferred to Central Kavirondo, whereas Luhya one went to North Kavirondo. So you see, they were trying to cut Nabongo. So that's what they were doing, and then eventually they handed us over to Kenyatta. By the time Kenyatta came back from Scotland, where he went to be trained to govern for like 20 years, we Luyas didn't even know about Kenyatta. And then the guy just came back, and all of a sudden he's the president of Kenya. And when he left as the leader of the Kikuyu Land, whatever commission, and FGM, female genital monitoring, whatever. And then comes back as a king, or as a leader of a country called Kenya. Even to this day, Mombasa is still asking, who is this guy? Where did you come from? We don't even know these people. We used to have our own system. Who are these people? Anyway, I don't want to go, don't want to make it so long. The bracelet of the Suba people, no, not Suba, the bracelet of the Nabongo, you can still see the same thing in Makuria, or the Makuria, or the people you call the Suba or the Amara people. This barrel was discovered, I think, in Meroe. And you see the bracelet, the royal bracelet, the guy still had, and you see the king, the throne of a king. So the same custom has been traced down to the Great Lakes. But the Mzungu will never tell you. They're just waiting for you. Today they will tell you to make you scared of doing more research. They'll tell you, oh, this is a occult. It's a ritual. They used to be buried with snakes, and these are occultism, satanism, Luciferian. And then after 20 years, you'll read stories from people from New York. Oh, this guy, the DNA of this Makurian king, and his Caucasoid nose resemble a guy in South Carolina. Yeah, you'll be exchanging stories and and arguing with people from America, telling you, the Makurian were, these were European, them Zungu. The crazy people. Yeah, they don't know, they don't understand history. Yeah, they lie, and when they lie, they feel like they're telling the truth. Yeah. So, yeah, because if this is now the Mzungu that we see in Egypt today, yeah. So why are they not doing it today? When did they stop doing it? But you find the same culture by the kings of Buganda, Bunyoro. They're doing the same thing. Okay. Yeah. So. There's another topic that I want to introduce really quick, because I won't be doing another video for a while. So the Luhya, the stone altar the stone of the east. We call it the stone of the east. So who copied from who? Because today we see the people, the Mzungu in Palestine, they have the same thing, but they say anyhow, they've been doing it for years. But also we Luhya, we have the same claim. This is our thing. They stole from us. Yeah, it's our culture. Okay, we are the Luhya people. So who stole from who? Okay. So we want to find out. The Maragoli, we call it Oluya, and them they call Ola. Yeah. So do you think which one sound more biblical, Oluya or Ola? Yeah. Do you think the ancient people will call it Ola or Oluya? So among the Maragoli, we believe the sacrificial animal is then killed by the Omusalisi. So why do you think the Maragoli will call the sacrificial guy the Omusalisi? Or Musa, okay, the sacrificer, who sprinkles its blood over the sacrifice stone, which is Luhya. That's why the Luhya called the name of the various, they call ancestral spirit. So Nyasai, from Zungu, the word Nyasai is ancestral spirit. So the question is, who is that ancestor who is called Nyasai? How come it's only Mzungu know the Nyasai? How many Luhya today do you know are called ancestors? And when they die, we start worshipping them as our ancestor. We start worshipping a guy called Nyasai, is our ancestral spirit. See, Mzungu is a liar, very good liar, So they call the name various ancestral spirits as a lie, and then divide the meat among the relatives who have come to witness the sacrifice. Unless the sacrifice animal, anyway, I don't want to read the rest of the story. But my main point is, you see, this stone, the sacrificial stone, is how they call Oluya, the stone of God. Okay, the altar of God. Let me just summarize vizuri. The altar of God, the Oluya, the altar of God. Okay, that's what it means. The Luhya, the stones of God, the altar of God. Okay. So those guys today in Palestine, they've been reinventing their own stuff, including their own language. Okay, if unajua what they're doing, come on, you know. Okay. So another thing that when Mwongo tunadanganya, you don't know how to learn. For instance, they've made their altars, but the altars are very wrong because they use cement and they cut the stone, which is unbiblical. Through the Bible say, now if you make an altar of stone for me, you must not build it with a stone shaped by tool. For if you use a chisel on it, you will defile it. But you go to Maragoli to this day, we don't use any. The stone has to be natural, and then it has to be they sprinkle the blood from east or facing east. Okay, and there's a way they do it. Even women cannot approach this place. And let me tell you a little story about these Maragoli shrines. They try to tell you that these are whatever you worship the ancestor, whatever, or whatever, those lies. The Mzungu, the typical Mzungu. But they don't tell you that they offer sacrifice and pray to Nyasai, which is God, basically God. And another thing is when they wanted to annex Luhya land, they were targeting Maragoli Hills to be Jerusalem. Why so? Because I think the informants or the so-called these people, they told them the Maragoli Hills is an undefiled hill. Okay? Maragoli Hills is undefiled hill. Yeah? Most people won't even understand what I'm saying. Maragoli Hills, when you go there, you are not supposed usikuwe umelala na mwanamke. You have done any sin within the last 24 hours. If you try to go there and maybe you sin, and then they offer sacrifice, they pray and do whatever they do, my friend, you're finished. Okay, they know very well. Maragoli, they will tell you, before we go up there, if you know you have done anything wrong, you have lied or doing, you have to go and there's a place to go, you do like baptism, then you wash yourself. You have to wash yourself several times, and then so that you can reach. And come out, if you have done something wrong, like you have 2 wives, you can't go there. You can't reach where the people will do the sacrifice. You can't go there because the place is undefiled. So the Mzungu knew about all this stuff, and that's why they wanted Jerusalem to be at Maragoli Hills. You can go check them up. Maragoli Hills. They wanted that place to be Jerusalem. Okay. So there's somebody who Alotoleo said, this place is undefiled. Okay. didn't understand the Bible. And I want, especially my Bukusu brothers, to tell me, because hao ndo wanajua kuhusu kusamba na misambo. Could this be the original word for Sabbath? Especially if you read the book of Numbers 28 verse 9. I want you to go and read it if you have time. Yeah. So could the word Sabbath mean the same Kusamba, Misambo, fire? Okay, I don't know. Just asking. Kusamba, Misambo, Sabbath. Could it be the same? The fire. Okay. Now, when the Mzungu, the missionary came, the missionary, when you're a missionary, you have a mission. And these people were sent, whether you like it or not, the missionary was sent by the Roman Catholic Church and the Portuguese, okay? So, and the priest shall bring it to the altar and wring off its head and turn it on the altar. So, there's so many sacrifices done by the Luhya. But the Mzungu, wajui, yeah, they don't know. They just think, I mean, I will go to only New Testament. Bring your offering. Maragoli. Go and check what they were telling the Maragoli. Just bring your offering. You'll be a good Christian, whatever. They're not reading the Old Testament. Or they don't want people to read the Old Testament because they knew. And like I've said, they were missionary. They had a mission. And they had something to accomplish, okay? So there's something I want to tell you guys. And this one, I want people to pay attention. There's a restoration prophecy, okay? Let me repeat it. There's a restoration prophecy that must be fulfilled at the headwater of the Nile. And these Muzungus, especially the ancient Greeks, the Romans, know this very well. So the Muzungu and the Turkic people, the Mongol, they have to relay this prophecy, okay? For them to maintain the monetary system that they have today. Otherwise, if you guys find out this information and do 1, 2, 3, 4, you see, you'll topple them. So they don't want you to find out. So why do you think they've been looking all these years, searching for the source of the Nile River? Yeah, why do you think they're doing so? And when they discovered, they named it to Lake Victoria. Why not name the one in Ethiopia, modern Ethiopia, or just the one in Kenya, and Kenya, Uganda, and whatever? There's a prophecy, and they know it very well. Yeah, so their job is to make sure you don't know anything about it. So, prophecy about the headwater of the Nile. So when you read Zephaniah, where you say, at the beginning of the Nile River, my people. So most people just get close there. Say, hey, my people. Say, the Bantus are down there. Yes, the Bantus are all over there. It's true. All these people, they're descended of the Hebrews, right? That's true. But there's a very specific coded message right there. My people will bring my offering. And then the prophecy, there's another prophecy. The ending, the stopping of the curse. Something must be done so that the slave can be uplifted. It's called uplifting of this. Kutoa Yolana. For the curse to end, something has to be done, and it has to be done at the headwater of the Nile. So the Mzungu has to do some distraction for you not to connect 1 + 1. Okay? So for the curse to be uplifted, something has to be done. People has to bring the offering to these people. Yeah? People who are called by my name. You'll see. People who are called by my name, these people will eventually remove the curses. Now, the Mzungu know about this very well. That's why you see around the 1920s or between 1902 to 1920, they dispatch a group of French like this guy and Germans to go to Ethiopia and rename the country Ethiopia. Why do you think they did so? They wanted every person in this world to, when you read the Bible, anytime you read Kush, 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 you say Kush, Kush, or beyond the rivers of Kush, you think about the modern Ethiopia, which is Abyssinian, which has nothing to do with the biblical prophecy. Because the only time they come in is because when about the punishment, because these people were involved in changing one of the oldest Bible called Suba language. I asked any Ethiopian to come out and rebut or say, okay, you are lying. They twisted, they and the Greeks and the Syrians and the Turkic people, they sat together, changed the Bible from Suba language to all the languages that you see today. They know very well it was written in Suba language, one of the oldest language, and they twisted this word to fit their own ideology. So this guy, was sent to Ethiopia and renamed it from Abyssinia to Ethiopia to hide all the information. Okay, main point is to hide the prophecy. Okay, so called by my name and restoration. So for restoration to happen, there's a prophecy that happened. The original word should be at the headwater of the Nile. My people who are scattered will bring my offering. Okay, my scattered nation will bring my offering to people. Yeah, to people who will offer that. Not anybody can offer that sacrifice. You cannot just sit there, decide, okay, let me do my offering by myself. You can't do it. Yeah, there are certain people who are called to do that work. So from your people, from this scattered nation, there are specific people who God commissioned to offer this sacrifice. So these all other scattered nations will bring the offering to these people, and then the curse will be uplifted. So they don't want you to connect the dots. Okay. So you see, and by that name, I will remove the shame from you, because now you have become clean. You can communicate with God once again. So they know. And you saw like a few years ago, all these presidents, they met in Ethiopia. They didn't want the media to show, and they were celebrating the end of 400 years. So the Bantus are supposed to be free, but they know you can't be free until you decode this message about Zephaniah. Jeremiah didn't stop in Sudan or Tepanesi in Egypt. He moved further down with the altar and the ark and everything. They know it very well. Okay? So the restoration of the nation, of the scattered nation, it has to begin at the headwater of the Nile. They know it. Okay? By the people who are called by his name. Okay? So you have to connect the dots. So when you read about, remember I told you about the cave and the fire? I'm trying to connect the dots. Okay? I want you to go out and do your own research. Mina compare 10%. I'm giving you 10%. Go look for 90%. Okay? Don't just rely on what I'm saying. I could be a liar myself. I could be just telling stories to fit my own narrative. So I want you to go out, do your own research, and compare notes and do your own research. Say, oh, this is not true. This looks like it's true. This okay. So Jeremiah, like I've said, didn't stop in Sudan. You have to go out and look. The people, the Arabs, they have so many books documenting how this drum migrated along the Nile to the people called Shenzi. But the name Shenzi changed to Zenj. They used to call us Shenzi. And the Tutsi Hima, they still call us Shenzi. They know these people, the Shenzi people. They had these drums and whatever. I don't want to stay on a deep. Just now appear to top layer. Okay? So there's a prophecy that it's upon us to go out and do our own research. Okay? And it's a coded message. You see, Jeremiah, hid the ark. And this ark, there were like 3 of them. If you read the Bible properly, you see there were 3 arks or 2 arks. Let me just say there were 2 arks, main arks. Okay? But kuna zile ni replica, just to confuse people, confuse macho za watu. Okay, there's a stick of Moses. There's also the apron of shame, and America has been going around Utandika my country looking for that thing, the apron. Yeah, they're looking for it, but there are my people somewhere who still have it. They went to Iraq looking for the apron of shame or apron of Adam. They clobber that country properly. Yeah. So, like I've said, there's a prophecy. It's upon us to find this information. Mungu atakuja kutufanyia kazi. It's upon us to do our own research. Okay. So, at the end, I'll ask, do you think the Ola, the stone that we see today in Palestine, does it fit the one we see in the Bible? When they say the Bible, the Ola or the Luhya, which one do you think fits the Bible? The natural stone or the one that is made by cement? So ni homework nimekupea. Give you 10%, go look for 90%. For that, Mungu abariki. Until another time, God bless each and every person. And Meshkuru, so happy God bless. And now make sure you share this video. Share. I need a rebuttal, not insult. No, just need rebuttal from Luos, from Ethiopian. I just need you to talk up. Want you to, especially Ethiopian, I need you to explain the Suba part. I need Luo to explain about that pact. Yeah, tell your side of the story. Yeah, come on, Iwongo, I will apologize. If it's true, tell the side of your story. Okay,